You ready?
Yep, ready.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order, at 6 o'clock on February 5th, 2024, at the town hall upstairs. Before, I start the meeting, I just want to bring you up to date on Michelle Dolph, if anybody doesn't know. She's home. She's 100% improved. They took an MRI or final CAT scan, and the blood has not increased, it stays the same. She's got her speech back, she has most of her mobility back, but she gets very tired. And so she's home. She's gonna have to start PT. And it probably will be a couple of months before she can return, to normal. But they don't know what caused it, that's the problem. So, but anyway, she's doing well. Still have to pass it on. Okay, we need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, adopted, the agenda adopted. We have, the minutes of January 16th. To approve. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of January 16th as presented?
I didn't have them.
No,
Somebody want to make a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
Make a motion to accept minutes.
I'll second.
Kathy seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Right,
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Morgan, why don't you speak to it? We have the generator, payment agreement. This was sent to our attorney. And he's approved it. And he said it's a good agreement and he recommended that we sign it as presented.
Do we need anything about the link for time?
Why don't you?
Yeah,
you
it
spoke
says
to-
within there that it's for the life of the generator itself.
Does it?
It does. It's on the first page, probably should go down. The attorney said that since there's money being transferred, it's considered like a license. So gosh forbid, if anything happens to the Wyndham Foundation, they would be held responsible to keep our connection. So our attorney, he said he feels pretty comfortable and very confident that that's a really good, a strong agreement. Do you see it, John?
Okay.
For the ground, we'd like to continue the historical practice of finding the foundation, like how.
Be the link to, of the life of the generators, we probably
I don't know.
discussed with it.
Yeah, you're right, I don't see it.
yeah, I don't see that in there.
Okay, so I think that,
Haven't heard of it.
so I think we just need to, why don't we just pass it kind of revised. And we'll deal with it at the next meeting. The septic pumping ordinance letters, and you want to address that?
Yeah.
There are some people that have not pumped it,
So we have 3 properties that have not pumped their septics from last year. And those are the CIC building in Cambridgeport, Brian Eating in Houghtonville, and Steve Aiken on Route 121 East. So I have that, hope you got a chance to look at that letter, but drafted that letter saying essentially that if you don't pump your septic by May 15th, the town will pump it for you, and we'll have a charge of $25 per day thereafter. So that's people from last year. Coming up this year, we typically send a notice to each person that, just letting them know that their septic is due for pumping. And I counted just tonight and we have, 32 properties that will be due this year. So I think it's good to get a notice out soon. So they have plenty of time, and they're required to have it done by October 1st.
Anybody have any comments here?
So the three that haven't done it, you send in a letter, and then if they don't do it, then the town
Then the town.
has
will
a
do-
company that they're charged with that company.
Exactly. Plus $25 each day they don't
Mhm.
pay.
Okay, we don't need a motion for this, do we?
I don't.
Um,
I just wanna let you know that I will be sending those letters
Right.
out this week.
No, that's what we need to know. The next item is the Parks and Cemetery request for proposal.
So again. I pretty much took it from last year. This is for the mowing, trimming, just, general summer maintenance for the parks and the cemeteries. Two separate bids, so if somebody wants to bid on the park, but not the cemeteries, that's possible. But the contract is, scheduled to start April 1st through November 1st, so I thought it would be good to get those sent out, advertised sooner rather than later, so that we can award a bidder, before April 1st.
And how are you gonna send them out?
So we have a list of local contractors that do property maintenance, and then we put it in the Grafton News, and it goes through the Vermont Journal. And then we put it on the website and bulletin boards.
Yes,
Is the town office listed on that list?
It is not.
So the people that are doing it now, have been doing it regularly. If you put it out to bid, those people will be bidding on it and not be mowing the town office, because it's not on the list.
That's a good point. How was that handled in the past? They just it was
just part of the list and we just,
Was it on like a parks list?
yeah,
Hmm.
it was never like really, it never was added to a list of the parks, but it should be.
It was just included.
It was just included as. If there's something new coming in, there won't be mowed here.
didn't Walter contact you, and Walter,
He gets the thunder trim behind the cars and stuff.
didn't he do that sometimes?
One time.
Yeah,
But then he wasn't doing it regularly and.
no, I understand.
Just a heads up.
Anybody have any questions on the proposal, the bids, or how we do it, or anything else?
Would you recommend that I add the town hall to the park? Or should that be handled completely separate?
Town hall.
Town hall mowing,
Mowing. Do we add it separately, or just add it to?
in the parks?
Put on the list.
I think you want to pay the tail, right? Get it a better price. Okay. Well,
You could.
So you can probably do it separate. Three areas.
It's just so small,
it's just under there, right? Just a little like the back
where
there.
we park.
It's behind the cars, out back, and we'll strip along the side.
There's a little strip all here too, right? Yeah.
Geez, I would have included it in the package, I would have.
You wouldn't,
Who's been doing,
you would.
who's been doing?
But you wanna do it as separate item, or should we put it in as the?
I mean, I broke it out for each part and I had town hall on there.
Yeah,
As a
I
separate.
would.
Status.
Okay, with everybody? Okay. All right, anything else on the parks that we need to talk about? Before we move on?
Can I just get a motion to put those, eyes that and then put it out for.
Okay, so somebody make a motion. As per, Morgan,
So,
Second,
any further discussions? If we're not, anybody, everybody have to do? Anybody in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Highway report, okay, Colby, you're ready.
I think the first two are from Morgan, are they?
Oh, my goodness.
Can I get you,
Who's 97?
Access weight permits, those are standard, we get those every year. So we've received so far Barrett Trucking, Newport Sand and Gravel, Renault Brothers, and Valley Crane Services. So I just need a motion to approve those permits.
and that you can sign it, or is
And
that,
Yeah, town admin signs.
any discussions on, wait, everybody in favor?
Mhm.
Somebody make a motion? Okay, second by Rich. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good. Okay, now we have the loader proposal.
Yeah, we gotta type it up.
Okay, so Foley asked me to type up the loader bid, pretty generic. We took an example from last time a loader was purchased and updated it to current, yeah, I don't really know much about the specs of it, but
The only thing we changed in it is I wanted a different wing and plow setup than the one we had. We're gonna trade our wing and plow in that we have for ours now. They said it would cost about the same amount to buy, have all the stuff to hook up ours onto the new one as it would be to just get a new one. And plus while it's there, they build it and they set it all up, it's all done right, and ours doesn't really work for what we need. It doesn't fit anywhere either. We can't get across Kidder Hill Bridge with it. So the new one will fit across the bridge, and it's, well, it's pretty much all we changed on it. Other than that, it's just another brand new loader.
this is scheduled with capital budget for this upcoming fiscal year, so after July, it'll serve it in there.
Everyone I talked to said it was about a 1.5 year wait for the new loader, so,
That, really, that long, huh?
yeah. Especially, well, a lot, some of it is, they have to set it all up with the plow and wing. So they have to wait for the plow and wing to come in and then build it, so. It'd be nice to get it out before too long, so we're not waiting for the loader per se.
So we have a cost on this.
We don't have the
We
cost.
don't until we get bids.
What it is.
We have, what, you came up with a list of like 6 different,
I'm gonna send it to John Deere in Springfield, Cat, Volvo, Komatsu, Case, and was there one other one?
Deuce.
Doosan. So we're gonna try to get the best deal we can get, but. Other than that,
And they would take the old one as a trade-in?
yeah, every company I've talked to said they'd take our old one trade. I just have to set up times for them to come in and give us an estimate on trade-in for ours, I believe. Cat gave us an estimate on it, and it was, you have that?
I don't.
It was like 60 or 70,000 they'd give us for trade-in with the plow and wing. Then the new loader itself with the plow and wing is gonna be about 200,000.
All the other manufacturers close by?
Yep, they're all closer than Cat.
Okay,
Cat is the farthest dealer that we picked, we have.
then they all service this area.
Yeah.
I think they're all from Vermont too.
Yeah,
Found a dealer.
Yeah, they're all, well, I think Komatsu was from New Hampshire. But other than that, they're all right here in Vermont, so.
Good.
Is that it for that one, Morgan?
Yeah, I just need a motion to put that one out to bid as well.
What are the bids in? The bid?
So we'll advertise it and then ask for bids back in the office by March 14th. And then we would open the bids at our Monday, March 18th meeting, so about a month, just over a month from now.
Just out of curiosity, was that the rough figures you guys were talking about, that fall in line with the capital budget committee thought? Estimated,
The capital budget, what, I think it was 205,000,
Yeah, it'll probably be a little bit more than what the budget was, it won't be much more. But it was pretty roughly right there in the estimate, I know the truck one is spot on.
Yeah.
But the loader, I think it probably will exceed over a little bit, not much.
The truck is out the bid.
The
now,
truck
right?
is out for bid.
Yeah.
I think, did we get one bid back?
Not yet, but they're due a couple weeks from now.
Yeah. Did you get your motion?
Okay, so we need a motion to, put out the loader out the bid.
So
John, second. John, second. If no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good. The sand bid, Colby, that's you.
I talked to Palmer Goodrich, and I got an estimate from the next closest place, which would be Cold River, to get sand for this year coming. Cold River came in at just under $100,000 for sand. That's us hauling it ourselves. Plus it would probably take us about a month to haul it all in. And Palmer gave me I guess you could call it's a proposal. We still have to put it out the bid anyway, but he gave me one and he was very close to his price from last year. And that's with him hauling it in as well. So I guess I'd like to put that out.
What was the price last year?
Last year was $59,000 we paid for the sand. This year, I can tell you what the difference would be. Roughly, what was it, about a little over $30,000 difference from Cold River to Palmer for this year.
Yeah.
So Palmer would like us to make a deal with him. If we were to say go, if we put out the bid and he wins the bid, he'd like it in paper that we would go through him, but I would like to get the sand put out the bid before too long. Palmer said that Chester will be calling too, and he's only gonna make so much this year, so he doesn't think he has enough for the two of us. So if you could jump on it before we have to pay $100,000, if not more, including fuel, to get it from Cold River.
That's a big difference between 100,000 and 59.
What?
The sand from Palmer's, you said.
Palmer
59.
sand is more than $59,000 this year.
You said it's gonna be 30,000 more,
It's,
right, you know?
I'm not gonna give you the actual number just in case we do put it out to bid, because I don't want Palmer to get gypped on it.
So we're talking about the same amount and the quality is the same?
Oh,
or
it'll
not?
be the same quality, it'll be the same sand that we've been buying for however long we've been buying from Palmer, but I would like to get it put out to bid before too long.
we're gonna need it.
Yeah, we're gonna need it, and I don't per se really wanna go to Walpole to get it, especially at that price.
I don't see why we can't put the bid out now. I mean, why wait?
Yeah, it's not like we don't have to pay for it till it's done hauling it anyway, so.
Well, you know, the pay off until the end of the year anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, if you guys want to put it out the bid, we can put out the bid, or if you guys want to decide to go with Palmer, we go with Palmer, but it's.
Does it have to go up a bit? Does it have to go up a bit? I'm assuming.
Well, according to our bylaws, I
It's
think
over
we have to
5,000.
bid it out over a certain amount.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it hurts putting it out the bid.
No, it won't hurt. I mean, no one else makes it, so anyone else that bids on it is not gonna get it anyway, because they're gonna have to buy it from Palmer or Cold River and then bring it to us, so. I think, yeah, we should get it out the bid before too long. I mean, probably within the next week or so, I would like to try to get it out.
There's no reason why we can't.
No, and I did write in it that invoices for this project cannot be paid by the town until the start of the 2024-2025 fiscal year, which begins in July. So even if they all are hauling material in, it's written that the town isn't responsible for payment until after the new budget kicks in. I think it makes a lot of sense to put it out to bid. We may only get one person, but at least we follow all rules.
Yes.
The only downfall, this will be his last year doing it. From what, by the sounds of what he's saying, so.
You can't worry about that. knows what next year's gonna bring.
We gotta worry about it at some point.
Oh, I know,
Okay, so I'll put that one out too.
I'd like to, yeah, put up the,
but, okay, somebody make a motion, then, put the sand bid out to bid. ASAP,
I'll make that one.
Yeah, second.
any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Right,
Opposed? Okay, Bill, you, oh,
Can I give a quick report?
sure,
Are you done with highway?
no,
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
no. Bill, you wanted to speak tonight?
No, you asked me to be here.
Oh, no, yeah, okay,
Yeah, you asked me to be here to explain why in early January, I had all Michelle's data and information in my possession and was sitting on it and doing nothing. Which is what was said at the meeting, much to the incredulity of several members on this board. I watched their reaction in the minute. It's really hard to have somebody who is doing his job only because he loves Grafton. And have people on this board lie about me and say I'm doing nothing with Michelle's data. And that's all I want to say. However, I do want to add this. If that happens again, I'm done. I'm not done in turning and helping the person out that kind of thing. I am done. Now, I'd like to give the status, if that's what you guys want. The status is this. I have been in constant contact with Morgan over all this stuff as this progresses. Part of the issue has been, and John knows this, that Michelle is very particular with the data. And after working on the data today and making progress on our report for FEMA, I think Morgan could speak to how important all that is. You have to be exact. You have to know where the materials came from. You had to know where they went. You had to know how much was gone. You had to have everything by invoice, by timesheet, by truck route, by everything. And that's what we've been working on. And if it wasn't for the great work of Michelle, we would be in really bad shape. So in December, in response to a complaint from a member of the select board, I talked to Michelle. And Michelle and I agreed that we would get together in early January, and we did, to go over what she had. And in the meantime, she would resolve any of those matters that she hadn't resolved. The only thing that she hadn't resolved is where all the materials came from, because not the best records were taken, not blaming anything, not the best records were kept on that. We think that we've worked that out. But her records are unbelievably good. And by the way, if I hadn't been working in Londonderry, I wouldn't even know what to do with all this stuff. Because FEMA isn't doing what they did 3 years ago. 3 years ago, we gave them all the reports, they put it on. They told us what we were missing, and we gave it to them. Not me, Michelle. All I did when that was done 3 years ago was, as the material came to me, I reviewed it all. If I had questions, I asked Michelle or Kim and signed it off, and Kim put it on the board. Mainly because she knew how to do it better than me. So that's how we worked it 3 years ago. This year, we gotta do everything. And which is completely different. So we met today, starting at 8 o'clock this morning. I came at 8 o'clock this morning. Somebody had a doctor's appointment with their dog. And then we worked all day. We have finished at least 2 PWs, and I think there's only 15, something like that. There's only 40 or so roads, maybe, or sites of damage. So this is really small compared to what I'm working on over there. And we did two of them, and Morgan may have finished the third this afternoon. She couldn't get to it because she had to be down.
I did not get.
But we're gonna meet tomorrow. By the time so we met early well, not that early, we met January 23rd, right up here. Morgan and Michelle and I went over everything she had. I was very pleased with what she had. And I told everybody I knew, including John, that we had the very good data. This was gonna be not very hard to do. Well, we had a little problems this morning because we didn't understand, but we got to it. And we managed to do 2 projects today, and probably by the time FEMA comes on Friday, we will have 5 or 6 projects presented to them that are in such good shape, unless he asks questions, that they can go directly to FEMA for funding. That's what we're hoping, that's our goal. In the meantime, there's been a problem with trying to get projects done like Bell Road. Let's just talk directly about that. So I wrote to Ben Rose, who's in charge of the state's recovery, who was a friend of mine that I just happened to know. So I said, Ben, what's going on with this 50% limitation on if you have a culvert that needs to can either be repaired or replaced. If the replacement is more than 50% more than the repair, you can't replace it, you can only repair it. In other words, you can't do the hydraulics and hydrology and have mandatory replacement. If you have a mandatory replacement of it, FEMA will replace it and pay 75% of the cost, plus the state's share, as you have in any dam. Well, I wrote to Ben and asked about that because we had a long discussion over a project over in London. Then I called Scott Jensen and asked, because he's familiar with the project, can we replace this and not have a problem with the 50% rule? And he said, because, and he went to look at it tonight, he didn't get back to me tonight, he didn't get back to me as soon as possible. On his way home, he was gonna go by and look at it again. If he determines that it is not repairable, and it really isn't repairable because you have about 15 feet of the old block laid up historic culvert, rock culvert is gone. And we need that section in order to make the road wide enough. And the other side of it is the old boiler tubes. You can't really push something on this end and then build the road back over because you can't marry up anything to a rock hole. So he said it's not repairable. If it is not repairable, then it's a regular project. It's not subject to it, that has to be built to codes and standards, which means a box culvert. That's what is required there according to the hydraulics and hydrology stuff. So I'm hopeful that bell culvert will go that way. I don't know that it will, but I'm hopeful it'll go that way. I'm hoping to talk to Scott. I'm hoping he'll contact me tomorrow, or I will talk to him in the morning with regard to that culvert. The other projects that we have, we can, if I can get someone who will actually work on it, and spend time on it, we should try to do benefit cost analysis of the culverts on Fisher Hill. That as you come down the hill, below culverts and below Record Road, those 2 culverts, the one that goes is below Culvert Road that Record Road that goes across, and then the one down by where Nate lives that comes back across. Those two culverts need to be replaced. They're too small and they cause a lot of problems. So we lose Fisher Hill in every major rainstorm. We don't need to. For instance, after we've had the culvert, the two culverts, the three culverts now, after Irene one, and then the two above them have been replaced on Hinkley Brook. The damage on Hinkley Brook in the summer storm this year, in the storm this year, was limited to where we put in the new culvert this year, because it wasn't a new culvert yet, it's 6-foot culvert, from there down to the culvert we replaced a couple years ago. I'm expecting that, with that new culvert up there, and that was a lot of damage, it tore out everything. But the new culvert there, that Hinkley Brook will have very little problem. I'd like to replace the culvert in the corner where the highway rails and the guardrails are, because it's not in good shape, and it may, the road may cave in because it has a hole. I would like to replace that, but I don't think we can do it. Maybe in mitigation, if we can spend some time on mitigation, we might be able to get that. And then mitigation on the two culverts on Fisher Hill. If we can get Fisher Hill done, those two culverts at some point in time in the future, then Fisher Hill will probably stay together in the storm. And we wouldn't have a problem. So again, I want to say, Michelle did a wonderful job, and where she hasn't resolved where the materials came from, it's not possible for her to resolve them. So we're going to resolve them if the best we can with FEMA and get those done. We think there's something else I need to. No, I think that's it. And everybody knows my phone number, and everybody has my email. If you have a problem, or if there's a question, just contact me. And I don't need to read in the newspaper that I'm sitting on my ass doing anything, not doing it. And at part, not because the newspaper reported that, because that was a very polite way to write the minutes of the meetings. Because the minutes of the meeting, if you go back, if you listen to the meeting, it's much worse than what it's written here. And friends of mine had the same incredulous response that Richard and Seth had at that meeting when he was told that I had all the information and did nothing. And that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you, Bill, for your update on the whole thing, and I hope we can get this thing going. I think the problem, and I've talked to Morgan with it this morning, and I did talk to Kim. I think the problem, and probably my fault, because as the chair, I should have done better. And this should have been put on the agenda and have a weekly report, a monthly, a meeting report, in other words, just as a committee report, so that everybody knows where we're going. And I think the problem is that one person was doing something, another person is doing something else. And I don't think we really knew what status we were, or where we were going, and how much we completed or didn't complete. So, starting on the next meeting, it'll be in committee reports, it will be a special committee. So we'll just keep, everybody knows where we're going, and we'll try to get this thing going so we can get our money. Because right now, it's becoming kind of tight, pay bills with the tax, with all the money that's going out. And Bill, what's happening with the state? When can we get that filed?
Oh, you mean the Fed Highway?
Yeah,
We were talking about that today. We would like to get as much done.
Okay.
Sorry, Kim. We'd like to get as much done with FEMA because he's coming on Friday. And then next week, I intend to spend some time here, and we will concentrate on getting the Fed highways done. Again, there's just a couple issues there that need to be resolved on where rock and stuff had come from, right? As far as I know, there's just a couple issues on that. And once we get those resolved, then we can, get it done. We have an email that we're following from, the person who is in charge of it. It isn't Megan, but we're gonna talk to Megan because Megan is, knows us and she can help us through the thing, but she may just tell us, no, we have to talk to the person, Mr. Lemieux, who is in charge of it. If that's the case, then we'll just work with him. But I would think we would have that done by the end of the following week. If not, right away on Monday or Tuesday of the following week, because it isn't that complicated. It's just that we would like to get, since FEMA's coming on Friday, we'd like to get as much
No, I agree.
into FEMA. And that's, and the other thing, I don't know if after you working today, if Morgan feels that we need, more help, like if Amber should come and work with us, but I don't know, Morgan and I have talked about that, and I think if we want to do that, we'll talk to you guys again. Is that correct, Morgan? Is that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very important that we get as much manpower as we can to get it going, because if we don't have enough money, we're gonna have to either borrow money at 5.5% or a bond
If you're
issue.
not,
So we're trying to avoid that.
I think depending on how quick their turnaround is, by the end of this month, they should have everything from us. I'm hoping by the end of 2 weeks, but this is 1 week. 2 weeks after that, before the end of the month, they should have everything from us, because Michelle has it all right there. It's just these little issues that drive you crazy. And it's the way that they have arranged some of the projects. They take I'm used to, you take a road and you replace the culverts that you do the road, and the road is a project. FEMA wants every culvert its own project, so when we get the reports from everybody, they just fix the road. So the materials and everything fix the road. So we have culvert today, how many yards on a driveway culvert, how many cubic yards can you use to put on a culvert on the side? And so we're gonna take that out of the road, and we know what the culverts cost. And we're just gonna tell you, that's the best we can do. Because people didn't really separate.
Anybody have any questions, comments? Questions for Bill? Go ahead.
Thank you. So I'm just wondering if, with everyone's work, if the submission is done by the end of the month, Bill, I think is what you said, what would the timing be for FEMA to get back to us with the reimbursement?
The only thing I can say is I heard from somebody else from the state, and I don't even remember who it was anymore, that FEMA is turning these around pretty quickly and getting money to people pretty quick. That's all. If they are, I haven't had any experience with anybody who's been paid yet, so I have no idea.
Did that answer your question?
Pretty quickly is not very definable, but if that's the response you're getting.
Well, I think you have to understand it's the federal government, so.
Yeah, that's says it all.
It's nothing else you can say.
What happens is this, we turn it in. It goes through a bunch of people here in the FEMA office, the temporary office section. It then goes to CRC, which is the center of something or another, and that is in Puerto Rico. The lowest bidder, by the way, the lowest bidder, I should say, is in Puerto Rico. And then they review it, they send it back. It then comes back to the town, approved, you just need to sign it, then we sign it, then it all goes back. So that it takes a while.
Anything else?
I just had just something to clarify. I think I understand. But when we, as board members, we signed, off on some of the costs. So what you're saying, Bill, is you gotta go back to each of those things that we signed and find out how much material was used on a culvert.
All of those invoices that you signed off on and that got paid, they all correspond to a daily worksheet that the.
Right.
members
I remember
did.
those sheets.
And so it's truly a nightmare trying to match them all up and figure out who was where, you know, how much was moved and Michelle has done, I would say 95% of that. She has truly done an amazing job and I will say if she hadn't taken so much time and put so much effort into it, we would not be where we are now.
And about 11 o'clock this morning, we were just pulling our hair out,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it all came together.
and it kind of clicked. It's like one of the biggest puzzles we've ever had to put together.
But then once you understood what her paperwork was and how she was doing it, then it worked.
Well, it's difficult to take somebody's work
Yeah.
who unfortunately is not able to continue and to go ahead and decipher it and then move on, so.
But it is so logically arranged that once you got into her logic, it was some.
Good.
Well, if you need help,
Thank you.
I can come in.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Anything else? Okay.
Thank you,
Kim's,
Bill.
Okay, thank you.
Kim's not here, she didn't come, but I'm just,
I have a quick update, but you can go first.
well, just, I met with Kim this morning and, Kim is, doing the payroll. She's having, a friend come in, who she worked with in the past to kind of look over her shoulder to make sure that she's doing, the right thing. And, so I can assure everybody that bills and payroll will be, Kim, a lot of work on Kim, but they'll be going forward with no hitches. So, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, just an update, they had a rabies clinic 2 weeks ago. And they had 7 dogs come out, so 7 dogs had vaccination that day and were registered with the town. And then we have another clinic coming up this Friday, the 9 to 10. That's all.
Committee reports, personnel, do you have any committee, any reports? Kathy, Seth?
I think we're gonna have an executive session. tonight,
Okay, so there's
we're
nothing to
gonna
report
dis-
then?
We're gonna discuss more, then.
Okay,
The one thing I do want to add on the septic, I mean, the sewage project issue, the wastewater issue is, we're still waiting from a letter from the state and the engineers. The engineer seems to me they've sent it to the state and they're waiting the state to sign off on it. So I keep bothering them and I'll try again. I'll probably Wednesday of this week, I'll reach out again. So I keep every probably 5 or 6 days, I'll send them another email. So we're just waiting on their response to my letter is where we are on that issue.
okay, Seth and Kathy, I was reading, this week that Londonderry is going forward with a sewer project. But they're doing a completely different kind of method than we are in Grafton. They're using, similar pods that MKT put in, where you can put in pod and it would cover 4 or 5 different homes. And they have, apparently they have 2 towns or 2 wastewater problems, so it's complicated how they're gonna do it, but I think someone should look into talk to the state, maybe. and
That is,
find out what-
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly that is the number one item I listed. It's called a cluster system. And
Yeah.
that is the number one system I put on my letter is that to talk about this cluster system. So that's in the 4 or 5 I listed. So that's in there.
Good, okay. Anything else on personnel? Okay, public comment?
I want to thank OBO's team for following through on plowing the spot. That really means a lot to people who go back and forth that way, so thank you, Colby, I know it's not a favorite job. So, appreciate it.
Any other? Okay, the next regular meeting, is Tuesday. The 20th, because Monday is, President's Day. So we will be here at 6 o'clock. So just keep that in your count. Motion to adjourn and go into executive session. Thank you all for coming.
So,
Okay.
Who seconded?
John, seconded. I had 7:15, but I mean, what is 7,
Okay, yeah. Just one second.